Well, I should be going to sleep now, but really, who can sleep after that Game of Thrones episode? And since I have this YouTube channel, and my husband's off watching the show and doing his own reaction video with his own friend, I figured, why not throw up a video here? Mostly because I'm not going to sleep anyways, got too many thoughts, might as well just talk them out. So I did have to do some Googling after the episode to get a little bit of backstory, because there are a few questions I had. One, I could not remember when the last time we saw Melisandre was, because she obviously played a huge role in this episode. And that was in season 7, episode 3, after Jon and Dany came together, and she had this kind of cryptic conversation with Varys, and ended by saying that she has to come back to Westeros to die, just like Varys does. So, you know, we got Varys' death to wait for. But that's that. Also, when did Melisandre and Arya meet before? Could not remember that. But that was way back when Arya and Gendry were with the Brotherhood, and that's when Gendry got taken. Melisandre. That was season 3, episode 6. And, yeah, that's when Melisandre told Arya that they will meet again. And here they did. What was another thing? I think that was the things that I wanted to Google. So yeah, where to start? There's a lot, obviously, that went on with this episode. Lots of anticipated things. Okay, honestly, I just want to say I am really glad that the whole fan theory about the crypts rising up and Ned was gonna come back from the dead and Catelyn Stark might be there, blah blah blah, like, that whole thing blew up. Like, I'm so glad that didn't happen, because honestly it would have been kind of anticlimactic to have it play out exactly this way that all these people were saying. And it just goes to show the fans don't know everything, and which is something that I really appreciate about Game of Thrones, that it does keep you guessing. And just after last week and hearing a bunch of fan theories, like, I just have no interest in hearing more fan theories. Like, I just want to watch the show and react to the show, and that's that. Yeah, so that's that. Anyway, let's get to talking. Okay, so Melisandre, let's talk about her, because obviously, big deal here. She actually used some of her power. Like, it actually worked. Lord of Light. Ooh, that was really cool when she got the Dothraki's swords up in flames. Like, score one for the Lord of Light. And then, again, when she was able to light the fire trenches, like, Lord of Light scores number 2. So that was pretty sweet. Like, hey, we got some power here. Also, I did not know, or maybe just didn't remember, that Grey Worm apparently follows the Lord of Light. Maybe that probably came up in another episode. I didn't feel like Googling that. I'm sure if somebody is watching this and wants to comment about that, they can. But that was interesting when Melisandre and Grey Worm had their little Valar, whatever you say when you're a Lord of Light fan. Yeah, but alright, she actually had a purpose. It was interesting. I thought that Melisandre pointed out, like, that Beric Dondarrion had been raised from the dead by the Lord of Light so many times, and that he died after saving Arya, and, like, this was the reason that the Lord was bringing him to life, and now he served his purpose, so now he could die. So that was interesting. And then definitely at the end, like, Melisandre served her purpose, and so she walked off. It does make me wonder of her just, like, chucking her little necklace, if someone else is gonna pick that up, if that's gonna be a thing, or we're just kind of gonna leave it. I mean, I don't know that we need another Melisandre walking around, but at the same time, it's kind of like, really, you're just gonna like chuck it there? I don't know. That's interesting. So, oh yeah, and you know, Davos was like, oh, let her in, and then I'm gonna kill her, because obviously he's super pissed at her for killing Stannis' daughter. I can't remember her name right now. Well, you know, not, it's really Stannis' fault, but that she persuaded him to do that, but obviously she served her purpose, and it was a good thing that he didn't do that. Alright, let's move on to Jon and Dany. We'll talk about them together. So, I found it very interesting at the beginning that they were just off, like, standing up and watching the action play out, and, you know, I made a note, like, this is very much unlike Jon to just be surveying the action. Like, Jon is a very action-focused guy, and kind of made me think, like, oh, he's really taking on his, like, kingly leadership role here, just being up front and surveying the scene. But it didn't take too long before they jumped in the action, and actually it was a little bit surprising to me that Dany was the first one to jump into the action, although they were jumping in with their dragons, and Dany's always quick to be with her dragon, so I guess that makes sense. But just an observation. But it was really Dany and her dragon that first provided any source of hope at the beginning of that battle, because, you know, got this army in the dead. Well, first we just got the whole build up, and everyone's like, death is coming, and then it's all dark, and then you see the Dothraki, you know, have their fires, and then all the fires are going out, and before you know it, it's just dark again. But then here comes Dany and her dragon. I don't know which one she's riding. Again, if you're like some super fan watching this, you can tell me who's riding which one. But they brought some hope there, so that was nice. And then Jon's riding his dragon, so here they are. Like, this is what Game of Thrones fans have been waiting for too, like, riding the dragons into battle, we're fighting. So those are really cool scenes. I mean, just like really good cinematography, and just interesting to see them flying around and such. What else do I want to say about Jon and Dany? You know, just, yeah, it was really interesting, like, seeing, like, the fire and ice, like, them flying through these snowstorms, and then the flames coming out. The ice dragon was going after Dany's dragon. That scene where all the dead were hovering over Dany's dragon. And then eventually, you know, Jon and Dany were both de-dragoned. Is that the right word? Undragoned, you know? Because do you say unhorsed? Sure. And I did like that, I just lost. Oh, that, like, more Jorah came out to fight with Dany. I did find it slightly unbelievable that she just, like, picked up a sword and was fighting around, though, because in my recollection, she hasn't done much actual battle. You know, she rides her dragons and tells her dragons to, you know, blow flames on people, but as far as actually battling, I feel like her men are always, like, keeping her aside, so that was a little bit like, really? You're just, like, fighting these people? And obviously Jorah did a lot of the fighting, but, I don't know, interesting. But, touching scene, you know, Jorah's obviously been with Dany for a long time, and they have this complicated history with his betrayal, but he also absolutely loves her, and she knew that she never really loved him, and he knew that too, and just, it was a good ending for Jorah, being able to, you know, help protect the woman that he loved. And then, Jon, that was interesting too. I am glad that Jon wasn't the one that got to Bran, and I'm glad that he didn't just, like, kill the ice dragon, because I kind of thought that might happen too, but, you know, we've seen Jon play the hero a lot, and that's what he likes to do, but, you know, I'm glad, you know, he can't always just come in and save the day. And I did find it interesting, too. I did write down, you know, you could see, like, Sam was struggling, and Jon looked over there and saw that, and, you know, it very much could have been Jon, like, going over there and saving Sam, whatever, fighting all the, you know, army of the dead around him, but he was more focused on what's the most critical mission, which is saving Bran at this point, and, he obviously wasn't the one to get there, but I thought that was interesting that he was able to turn aside from Sam and keep going. So, just a point there. Yeah. And Jon and Dany are both alive, so that we'll have a next episode to figure out, you know, let them hash out their whole love, family, relationship, who's actually gonna rule. I mean, from the preview, it sounds like Dany's like, I'm in charge. And I mean, just knowing Jon's history, you think Jon's like, hey, I don't want to be in charge, but he's actually the heir, right? So it's interesting. I don't really know what else to say about that. Let's see. I liked when Arya handed the dagger to Sansa. I was like, well, stick it with the pointy end. It's always nice when they, you know, throw back to old episodes, and, you know, we all recall when Jon gave Arya needle and told her to stick him with the pointy end, so. I did really like, Sansa and Tyrion in this episode, especially at the end. You know, Sansa had a line about, you know, our heroic act now is facing the truth, and knowing that we can't help out there battling this way, and it's true. And you know, just thinking about, that's kind of where all these characters are coming to, like, what is the most important, what is true, and I don't know, just, I mean, obviously Game of Thrones is not, like, speaking to my life, but, you know, you think about how it applies, and that's just what I've been thinking about as far as my life, like, what really is my truth, what is the most important thing to me, what is my priority, like, what is the real mission here, and not getting distracted, and knowing, like, I don't know, I'm, like, just thinking about my job, like, maybe wanting to make a change, and then thinking, like, oh, but I got hired for this position, but it's, like, you know what, the truth is, like, I'm replaceable, like, that's just the truth, and, like, for Sansa there, like, the truth is, like, I'm not really needed out there, like, that's just the truth, and gotta face that, so, I just really like that, but, oh, definitely, like, it was such a perfect moment. The show did such a good job of Tyrion and Sansa, like, hiding behind the statue there, and, just looking at each, you know, just, there didn't need to be anything said, and him kissing her hand, like, that was beautiful. That was a beautiful moment. That was probably my favorite moment of the show, or the episode tonight. Obviously, that's not obvious. But no, I think that was just, yeah, probably the most beautiful moment of this episode. Just, I don't know, just seeing where these characters have been, and knowing that they're trying to make a difference, and just knowing who they are, and yeah, there's just a lot there, so that was really good, and glad everyone in the crypts didn't die. Also, but, okay, I am a little bit confused about exactly what happened to in the crypts, like, okay, so we didn't have, like, Undead Ned, like, you know, you saw some fan things, but then, like, was it that the army of the dead was actually breaking through into the crypts, or was it that some of these dead people that were buried were breaking out of their coffins or whatever. I couldn't really understand that exactly. So, I don't know that really matters. Like, there were dead people down there, but they weren't, like, significant dead people. Like, I mean, it wasn't like Ned and Rob and Callan. Is Rob even down there? Probably not, right? So, but that was just a question I had. Doesn't matter. Okay, should we just talk about, like, how the battle went? So, whoa, like, really scary, darkness. Okay, then the Melisandre lit the Dothraki, got this little piece of fire, like, yeah, and then, nope, quickly extinguished. Then Dany and her dragon came, like, that's awesome. Then, the first death was so sad when Ed saved Sam and then he died. But, I mean, it makes sense, like, of the characters to go, he's one that, he served his purpose, but, people keep texting me, I gotta move those. But, it was sad. I mean, he's just a good guy, you know, he's one of those, you're sad to see it go. But then, Lord of Light struck again, light in those trenches, Melisandre. I wasn't really sure if, like, Grey Worm was gonna try and light them, or exactly how, but I guess, you know, makes sense if he's, like, a Lord of the Light follower, he was trying to get Melisandre there, whatever. And then it was so creepy, like, seeing those blue eyes just staring across the flames, and you're like, yeah, fire trenches, that seemed like the best idea ever, until, someone, Night King, was like, hey guys, let's, just extinguish these flames with our bodies. Like, okay, cool. And it was just, like, astounding how many dead people there were. Like, you knew the Army of the Dead was big, but in this episode, like, it was so apparent, like, so many dead people. But then Arya's little stick weapon thing was pretty sweet. Like, seeing her, you know, like she was in the House of, what is that called? The House of White and Black. You know, flicking around her pole like she used to do when she was blind. And, you know, now I understand what that picture was, because I was kind of confused. Like, I saw that it came apart, but then I was like, is it to, like, stick something, like, I thought it was, like, to stick a secret message in or something, but then I saw, like, oh, you wanted to come apart because then you can use it as daggers, but then it's a full thing. Yeah, that was pretty badass. And just to see the Hound, like, so scared, that was an interesting part of the battle. Oh yeah, the Hound and Beric, that was an interesting, storyline here, too, in the episode. Beric really trying to save him. He's, you know, that kind of seemed to be his thing, that he wanted to help the Hound. But then he used Arya to help because, you know, the Hound feels this connection to Arya now after their past encounters, and so, they were able to save them. But, oh my goodness, that scene with Arya, like, in the library room with all those dead people walking around, like, I, like, barely could watch it. It was, like, a horror movie, like, it was scary, and I was only, well, the kids are home, but I was the only one home here, like, watching in the dark, like, but, it was interesting, though. It was interesting. I mean, I liked it. It was scary, though. Anyway, by the way, aside from this, I still really, really, really want Nymeria to come back, like, so badly. Arya's direwolf, like, you know, she ran off in, like, season 1, episode 1, episode 2, right away in season 1, you know, she made her run off after Lady was gonna get killed, and, I really, really want her to come back. So, there's still 3 more episodes left that I have hope. Also, half hoping that Cyril Farrell will still come back. I was kind of hoping that he was gonna, like, show up and save her in the library there, but, you know, he might be dead. When we don't have, like, a clear death, then you just never quite know. Yeah. Anyway, I already talked about, yeah, Barrick and, pointing out that, you know, the Lord kept bringing him back in order to save Arya. Oh, obviously I forgot about the whole, going back to Jon and Dany here, you know, Dany's facing the Night King. She's like, yeah, dragon, like, do this. And then he's just like, yeah, can't burn me. So, that sucked. There's a lot of moments in that battle where I was like, ooh, that sucks. Like, oh, fire trenches, thought they were good. Oh, yeah, let's just burn down the Night King. Ooh. And then, Jon's coming, and then the Night King's like, hey, guys. And it's like, oh my god, like, can you imagine being in that kind of battle? Like, you are, like, exhausting all your capacity to try and beat these dead creatures. There's, like, 8 kajillion of them. And your friends are dying, too, blah, blah, blah. And then, all of a sudden, all the people that you just spent all this time killing are coming back up. And all your friends are joining them, like, as your enemy now. Like, that sucks. Like, more than sucks, but I don't know what else to say about that. It's just like, oh, how could you? I don't know. Other sad moment of death, Lady Mormont, but also really cool. I mean, right, like, you thought this Battle of Winterfell, like, probably she's gonna die. But it was cool that she got to kill that giant while she did, and I mean, it was a cool way for them to make her go out like that, and she was just a sweet character. I mean, the show's creators had talked before about how, like, she was supposed to just be, like, a one-scene character, and she's been, like, a bigger one. Oh my goodness, if my baby wakes up, I tell you, she's, like, cutting teeth. I don't know, she just, like, has been the last, like, 3 nights just, like, will cry for, like, 15 minutes, but, and she'll be fine. So, if she starts crying, I'm letting her have at least 15 minutes, so, fair warning, that's kind of mom I am. She's fed, she's fine, like, she's fine. I think she just is getting teeth and it hurts, and that sucks, but she needs sleep too. Anyway, back to Game of Thrones. I have notes, by the way. That's why I'm not just, like, looking down at my blanket. Let's see. Oh, we're pretty much getting to... Oh, yeah, just that, I mean, just talking about, like, how the battle went, like, that end with the montage of, like, the muted music, and I think the show did a really good job of, like, it not just being, like, all-out battle, like, just about the battle and the deaths, but, like, really focusing on some key characters, and so that was really good. It was emotional. Like, they did a good job there. Just, like, I mean, how do you beat these guys? Like, that whole thing there was like, well, I mean, basically the Night King has won. Like, we already talked about, he has, like, 8 kajillion people, and then he just can raise up more. Like, fire can't kill him. Like, how do you go on from that? But then, holy shit, Arya. Like, that's what I wrote on my, you know, I was taking all these notes, and then I was like, can you do this? Holy shit, Arya. Like, that was amazing! And totally unexpected. Like, I was really expecting, because, you know, Bran was all in his, eyes rolled back, whatever, doing his 3-eyed raven thing, that there was going to be some kind of, like, Hodor, time traveling, like, blah, blah, blah. And maybe he was, like, getting inside of Arya's mind. I don't know. But, I don't know what, you know, maybe it'll pan out in the next episode or something, like, what was going on there. But to see her, like, come and jab the Night King and everybody explode into a million glass pieces was really cool. Like, dang. But, okay, this does, I don't know. Like, obviously, yay, like, we killed the dead. Like, that is really cool. That is, like, the goal, right? Like, that's supposed to be, like, the overall goal. Like, not just, like, it's these people in Westeros battling. It's supposed to be, like, oh, we're battling everyone. I mean, this is how, like, Game of Thrones Episode 1 started. The very first scene was the White Walkers, and so, like, it's good, but then it, I don't know, is it, like, a little bit anticlimactic? Like, I thought that was supposed to be the point, and for them to be able to be defeated already is kind of like, really? Also, I don't know, like, it does bother me a little bit that Cersei didn't see the dead people, like, didn't see the Night King, like, I mean, whatever, but I don't know, at the same time, like, I kind of wanted her to, like, be punished for not coming to help them when, you know, obviously she wasn't going to do that anyway, but just, like, to know that, you know, it really is, like, a big deal, and, like, I don't know, to not, for her not to, like, be part of that battle, it's just, I don't know, it's just a little bit, like, okay, so it really is about Westeros, like, it really is about, like, who's gonna sit on the Iron Throne, and, I mean, it is called Game of Thrones, right, like, but, I don't know, to think about that more, but I'm not sure how I feel about it just being like, alright, well, we don't have to worry about the Night King and all of that anymore. Really? Like, just like that? I don't know. I mean, it wasn't just like that, right? Like, they had a big battle, and it was like a whole thing, and maybe Bran was, like, doing some kind of thing in his mind. I don't know, but yeah, overall, the dead count, I mean, not the count, but of, like, the major characters that died in this episode, I got this is not in order, Jorah, Beric, Ed, Lady Mormont, well, Melisandre, too, at the end, which, yeah, that was a good way for her to be done, too, but, you know, Sansa's still alive, Arya's still alive, Jon's still alive, Dany, Tyrion, Jaime, a lot of people are still alive, so I think a lot more than people thought, maybe mostly because nobody died in episodes 1 and 2, but it will be interesting to see. I mean, the preview was obviously like, alright, it's going to be a showdown between Dany and Cersei, and it just, I didn't want Euron to be a thing. Like, I really wanted that storyline to kind of die, so it's a little bit bothersome to me that, like, Euron's still hanging out there, at least from what the preview showed, so that'll be interesting. I don't know, we'll see where this goes. I mean, we got 3 episodes left, and it's a battle for the throne, but, I mean, Jon and Dany will definitely have to deal with, like, what's going on here, who really is in power, and will Dany let Sansa just rule the North and then be a separate power, or how's that gonna work out? I mean, what is Arya gonna, like, what are our characters gonna do now? Is everyone from Winterfell just gonna go and fight Cersei, or some of them gonna stay up there? Yeah, it's gonna be good, but damn, that was a really good episode, and can't wait for next week, so hope y'all have a great night. I need to get to bed now.